Wrestling Federation unveils 6 wrestlers for Paris Olympics. Top tennis star sees first round victory at Wimbledon. And in football, Portugal and France strengthening hope of another European title. Details of this and many more will be yours in our jiffy.
Telling him not to counterpunch. Telling him not to counterpunch.
Corruption not in my country.
Driver, why you just dey jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask oh?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey, light o usai, the infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, well everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No vex, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently. Make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Go with me, oh. All right, welcome back from that break. If you're just joining us, it's Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network, and I have Emmanuel Michael joins us to bring you all the electrifying analysis you can ever think of in the last 24 hours in sports. Mike, welcome to the show today.
Yeah, good morning, Temple, and good morning to our viewers out there. Always a delightful moment to do this with you.
All right, let's get started. And of course, we'll start from the home scene in wrestling. We're already counting down to the Paris Olympic Games, and Team Nigeria are not taking it easy as the Wrestling Federation has, unveiled 6 athletes or wrestlers that will flag that will hoist the flag of Nigeria at the forthcoming Olympic Game, Mike.
I think it's a good one. And, it's always very nice when you have people who understand the workings of any system in the right place to pilot the affairs of the Wrestling Federation. And Daniel Igali, who is one man who thoroughly have seen it all in terms of wrestling, take a look at the honor that he has achieved for the country. Now being, the sport commissioner of his state as well, also double as the the chairperson of the sporting, the wrestling federation of the country, at least you should expect that some of this preparation will start in earnest because he truly understands where he pinches most of these wrestlers. He has won the shoe before, and that is why we are seeing this massive and early preparation from the from the wrestling federation. And I think for me, this spearheading those contingent, about 6 or 5 of them is Dekoroye Odunayo, who for me have also been a very good example for the country. And I tell you, if other sporting federation is doing everything possible to start their preparation for the Paralympic game early, just like the way the wrestling federation is doing, then we want to say yes, there is hope for us amassing medals in the coming Paralympic games. So other sporting federations will also take a cue from what the wrestling federation is doing. Start preparation in early, get yourself equipped, perfect your plan, go to the Paralympic game with a positive mindset of going out there to compete favorably with others. And if we have this kind of mentality and attitude, then I assure you that we will definitely come back smiling after the Paralympic Games.
We'll definitely come back smiling after the Paris Olympic Games, and I can tell you for sure that part of the reason why that smile will continue is because we have a contingent already from the Wrestling Federation who are getting ready. The team comprises of 5 female wrestlers, 1 male freestyle wrestlers, and 3 coaches were presented yesterday. And this presentation is also very necessary. Looks like this might be my plans are already on set for them to move out from the country too, for further preparation ahead of the Olympics. The Olympic starts this month, and of course it will be a delight to see how it all pans out.
Yeah, I think it's also very necessary that you take some of these wrestlers away from the shores of the country to more developed climate where they have a proper training facility, more enhanced facility to train with, and also prepare them. You know, we hear they will be going to Germany as well to finish the last lap of their preparation before heading down straight to Paris, to France out there for the Paralympic game. And I think for me, if you take a look at the equipment that you have here, you may say, yes, it's not up to standard compared to what we see in others, developed climate. And that is why it is needful for them to go out there, get exposed to some of these top-notch facilities and equipment, train with them. It makes you to perfect your plan, and that gives you an edge when you get to the Paralympic game proper.
When you get to the Paralympic game proper, it gives you an enormous edge. And like you said, the likes of Dekoroye, Ruben Hana, also reigning African champion Esther Kolowale, and Ogunsaya Christina, while Aston Mutawa completes the list, for the 125 kg men freestyle wrestling. The coaches are Victor Kodi, Purity Aku, and Happiness Burutu. The Vice President of Nigerian Wrestling Federation, Daniel Igali, or the President, I beg your pardon, Igali, in his remark, expressed confidence that the nation's wrestler will put up a good performance at this year's Olympic. From the preparation, we saw a lot of athletes, a lot of wrestlers participating in this particular one, trying to pick tickets for the Olympics. These 6 finally have qualified, and like you said, talked about the preparation of the federation. It looks like their expectation will not be the last time we won just 1 medal, making it the 2 medals we won, for Team Nigeria, on the whole. And that one, well, of course, we saw Blessed Burudu doing that. We hope that we can even get to win more medals this time around. And with the way they are going about it, it looks like all eyes will be on getting medals. Maybe 3-4 would be an electrifying moment for all of us. But then, do you think that these ones that have been prepared thus far can, lighten up the scene when the time comes at Paris Olympic Games?
Yes, going by, their preparation plan so far. Before they are even talking of jetting out of the country to finalize their preparation for the Paralympic game, it is also noteworthy that they have been camping here in Yenegua because, Daniel Igali owns a wrestling facilities out there. He owns a wrestling symposium where people come to train and perfect their plan. Even other countries from Africa, he's sending the wrestlers down to Yenegua out there in the Daniel Igali's foundation to at least perfect their plan. So some of these wrestlers, they have been in camp here. They just want to go outside the country to perfect their plan. And of course, the likes of Dunay or Dekoroye, Esther, Kolawole as well. These are some of the strong hands. If you take a look at the list of those 6 wrestlers, you will say, yes, this is the best hand that we have. Having started preparation here in the country and they want to go over to overs and continue their preparation, you want to say, yes, definitely with this positive mind of set and with the way and seriousness that Daniel Igali have put in so much and the effort from the wrestlers themselves, it is a clear evidence that they want to go to the Paris Olympic game and win gold medals and win laurels for me, which is very, very important. You know, when heading for such major competition and you see most of the key actors talking about the sportsmen and women brimming with confidence, nothing disturbs them, they feel relaxed. I mean, it gives them the edge and belief to even do better in such championships. So for me, I'm very, very hopeful that if all things goes to plan, definitely out of these 6 wrestlers who want to say yes, at most 3 or 4 of them will definitely come back home with something tangible.
Definitely come back home with something tangible, and let's see how far that goes. And I can tell you for sure that massive preparation. We're already counting down to the Paris Olympic Games, starting the last period of this month, and we'll see how that goes. Away from that, let's take you through some of the other preparations in other spheres of sports, and this time we'll move straight to the volleyball, where the president of the Nigerian Volleyball Federation, Engineer Musa Nimrod, has announced that the annual beach volleyball tour initiated under his leadership is yielding positive results. This declaration came following Nigeria's victory at this year's Africa Under-19 Girls Championship, that was staged in Morocco. And for Nimrod, who also serves as the chairman of the Central Committee, Control Committee for this year's African Under-19 Boys Beach Nations Volleyball Championship, said that the tour has helped the players with more playing time and better preparation for the internal competition. I remember vividly that our ladies won, a medal, on that particular one, and then our guys, I guess our ladies came out top, but our guys lost it, won a bronze medal, and it looks like massive preparation for the both sides. If you look at from what he said, it seems that beach volleyball is beginning to gain momentum. Maybe that could be the strategic target for this year.
Yes, of course. You will understand that every man that is man at the helm of affair always come up with a new plan that will ensure that such organizations succeed, and that is what Musa Nimrod is doing here. But for me, organizing an annual volleyball competition, is that good enough for us to be where we want to be? I think it's not. There is need for other, mini competition to be organized to keep these sportsmen, the people that plays the key role, which are the players, to keep them very active and very competitive. Because when you organize a certain competition once in a year just for such a competition or such a sporting unit to grow, it doesn't actually add up for me, because after the annual competition, every other person goes to their tent, and when next you regroup is after 1 year. How can you achieve a long-lasting success with such a plan? So for me, I'm just thinking there is need to organize other mini competition every now and then, maybe more like regional competition for volleyball players out there, to keep them fit, to keep them competitive, keep them excited, and that is how you get to churn out new talent. Because if you wait until after 1 year before you organize another competition, how do you want to develop the sport in general? So there is need for a consistent plan, a consistent gameplay from these bodies, that be from the athletes, from the players, from the coaches. New idea must come in, so that we ensure a proper development and growth of this sport here. Like I said, if we wait on every year, just once annually, it doesn't just help at all. So for me, I think in as much as it's a good idea that Musa Nimrod have introduced this annual competition, it should also do more to ensure that maybe we introduce more like a regional competition, quarterly, so that to complement the annual, organization where Nimrod has put in place. Then again, you also want to allay the fear that after his tenure in office, how far the next person that is coming to take up the battle of leadership from him, can such person continue with the lofty ideas? Because continuity of any project is always the bane of our sport development here. One man will come, initiate a good and a very lofty idea, but when next person comes around, he doesn't want to continue with such lofty idea. He wants to create something new so that it will be attached to his own portfolio, that during his time in office, so thing were done. And the other previous plan and arrangement that was made on ground will be jettisoned, and you don't develop that way. So there is need for consistency. After he's gone, somebody coming in should also follow that platform, so that we will ensure a proper and a consistent growth of this sports.
And he's talking about, growth. It said that there is need for private clubs in the country to support the sports by organizing mini tournaments and participating in the beach tour. So at this level, don't you think that he's also advocating support from the various states who should partner with the private sector, to get some of these things, from what you just talked about, having a regional competitions? I mean, they may not have all the funds to do that, but that's the reason why we have the state FAs, to get partnership with the private sectors.
Just like what I said earlier, there is need to organize mini competition, and I believe he understood, and that is why he is calling private entrepreneurs to also key into that plan. And for me, I just think that you need to make the grass green first before you ask the disciples to sit on the floor, because that is the example that even Jesus gave. He said, make the grass green, make it comfortable so that they will sit on ground. How far have you done in the areas of developing the sport? What are the equipment, the facilities that have been in place? What have you attracted? Have you been able to attract a very good sponsor? Have you been consistent over the years? These are some of the things that sportsmen or philanthropists will want to look into, before they try to put their money in. It's not about you calling on private individuals or to come and invest their money therein. What do they stand to gain at the end of the whole thing? If they actually come up to invest their money there, is that template good enough to sell their market in? Because you don't expect me to come and invest my money in something that I know that will not fly. So these are the things they need to also keep their house clean as well, have a proper organized competition. Then that will be left, and that will be made more easier for private individuals or sport philanthropists to come and put their money in. Nobody will want to come and put his or her money in something that does not fly, in something that he or she will not benefit. So first, they need to also do their own part of the bargain by making sure they organize an attractive competition, and by so doing, people will get to see it. Then you don't even need to stress yourself to look for sponsors that will come and partner with you.
Of course, we hope to see that some of these things become reality. But the president has remarked that the federation is committed to fostering the development of beach volleyball in Nigeria, leveraging the annual tour to build a robust pipeline of talent and elevate the sports profile. Let's hope that this will be, one of those times when we'll get to talk about it. Maybe this evening we'll get to also hear from one of the media officers of the Volleyball Federation to see how far we have gone and possibly where we are right now, and the hope of participating in future Olympics, as already counting down. 26th of this month is around the corner, and the Olympic gets on the way. We're all going to be here to take it through. I hope that volleyball and other sporting activities of federation should get up for the next Olympics. For me, when you get to the level of having athletes or talents participate in the Olympics, that should be it. So I don't know the strategic plan of the Volleyball Federation, but I think that with what they've done in the last couple of years, we should be building talent. We should be talking about the Olympics. And seriously, we should be like what you talk about. If we have enough talent, which we have, and harness this talent and more competition, it is easy, it's natural that you get to see. Because I will tell you a story of a young athlete whose father is well-to-do, and because of the love from the child, in athletics, became a sponsor in Edo State. And one of the sponsors of the Athletics Federation is this man I'm talking about here. So I think that there are kids out there who, when we're going to regional development of talent, like you recommended, it will help the sports, and you never can tell whose child, might be touched and who will be willing to partner, because and part of it is also public relations. The more we make it, we decentralize it, and the more people will be interested to come in. But I think that they have done very well in the last couple of years, except for the fact that we need the FAs too to also show more commitment and partnership to elevate. Because for me, in 2028, there will be no excuse as to why volleyball should not be represented at the Olympics.
Are you talking volleyball or rugby?
I'm talking about volleyball right now, because of what Nimrod, said in the issue of participating at the Olympics, the beach soccer volleyball. Because we have the likes of China and some of the Asian countries, even in Europe, participating in the beach volleyball segment. So I'm just thinking that if we have like handball and volleyball in recent times have done very well, if we have them develop talents, and nurture them from now to 2028, we should be talking about, when we talk about the Olympics, like talk about wrestling, we should talk about the volleyball and the handballs of this world in Nigeria.
Yeah, I think I agree. In as much as it's one of the major sports out there where other countries use as an advantage when you get to the Paris Olympic game, we need to also key in that in that regard as well, because many times you discover that we are not grounded with other sports that is not related to possibly some of the popular sports. Maybe we call it football, taekwondo, boxing, and athletics. These are some of the key sports that we major in. But most of these other relatively unknown sports, it's like we don't pay much attention to it. And that is why you see countries like Egypt, Tunisia, South Africa, always having an edge over us in the All-African Games. Why? Because they always capitalize on the other relatively unknown sport where we are not good at. And you amass gold or silver medal from those relatively unknown sport out there. And that gives them the advantage to topple you on the gold medal list. Why? Because we just want to pick some of the major sport and focus on them. No, you can't get a total development. And especially the Olympics, most of the gold medals that different countries rack up there, it comes from relatively unknown sports. That we call them unknown sports in this part of the climb. But they take it very serious out there. And that is why they always topple, or they always sit ahead of any other African countries, because they pay much attention to all these sports that we think is not that lucrative to us. But over there, I don't know, maybe because of their own climb and because of their facilities, that is why they pay much attention to it and develop it. But then we can also take a cue from what they are doing. Hence, we want to also develop sport holistically. We need to also take a deliberate plan. So because if we just focus on athletics, football, how many gold medals will you amass in football? Just one or two. But in other sports, you can amass as much as many medals. So we must also do well to develop volleyball and handball as well, because it will also help us to also have that advantage over other countries who is not specialized in it.
Have more advantage over other countries that are not specialized in it. And I can tell you that all this gearing up, we hope that our teams will prepare for the forthcoming, those that are not part of this particular one this year can also hope to be part of the next edition of the show come 2028. But we come down to this year's edition, and I'm already getting the euphoria. I'm already, getting tuned into this year Olympic, the Summer Olympic, the last for the president of the IOC, Thomas Bach. All right, let's talk about rugby. And we heard that after the dismal outing, last weekend, Nigeria will confront host Mauritius, South Africa, and Zimbabwe in Group C of the second leg of the men's rugby 7 tournament. And after the first series, it looks like we have gone back to the drawing board, and I hope that the tactics will be right this time, Mike.
It will be very difficult for me to sit here and affirm that the tactics will be right this time. Looking at our dismal appearance in the first, phase of it, where we lost embarrassingly to Mauritius and other top countries out there, even Madagascar as well. I think for me it will take a lot. It is not a quick fix kind of something where you don't get prepared properly and you are hoping to do the magic or you're hoping to do miracle there. Of course, just like we say in this part of the climb, miracle, they tire Jesus, but there are certain miracles that you must also ferment and fabricate. You craft it out of your own self and don't wait for Jesus Christ to come and do the miracle for you. There are certain things that is within the ambit of man to perfect and not about every time you are calling Jesus or God. We need to do the needful. If you have not properly prepared, if you are not totally in tune with the rules of the game, with the antics and techniques of the game, there's no how you will be praying for miracle to happen on the very day when the match is going to take place. In our first phase, it was a disappointing outing. It was an outing that we need to forget in the rest of our history because there is no positive to derive home from that. This is the second phase. How many days where the first phase finished and you are expecting us to go and do miracle in the second phase?
But it doesn't as if they never won a game. They won a game.
They won just a single
game, yes. So, but then they lost. I mean, a lot of people would not have felt bad if they had lost handsomely. Okay, but it looks like the top teams like Mauritius, those big teams, Kenya, just outclassed them. And so maybe, going back to the drawing board, they would have seen some of this challenge. I believe that the Stallions can always bounce back. And for me, it doesn't matter what happened. I mean, sometimes we need to fail to have a, let's check back and see gray areas that we need to work on.
Yeah, for me, I think I love your optimism and positivity, but then it goes beyond that. It goes beyond that, actually. What is Kenya doing differently? What is country like Madagascar doing differently? What is Mauritius doing differently that we are not doing? That is the question. And we need to also start learning from the best of the hands here in Africa if we truly want to catch up with them as well. Just like you say, I cannot jettison the fact that they give their all. It's just that their all wasn't good enough. That is the truth. I'm not that pessimistic, but I tell you one thing for sure. Looking at their first phase performance, I do not think that they have what it takes to be able to also come back very strong against one of the big countries, some of the heavyweight here in Africa, Madagascar, Mauritius, or even Kenya as well. But then there's still hope. We can go out there and learn some lesson and come back and perfect on it and work on ourselves. Maybe possibly next edition we'll do better than what we did this time around. Possibly
next edition we'll do better than what we have done this time around. And I can tell you that we hope that the Stallions of the Black Stallions of Nigeria will hold their own high, because a lot of persons were disappointed at the last outing, in the first phase of this the 7th series, and we hope that they can live up to the hype, the expectation that that deserves a country like Nigeria. But let's move away from that and let's talk some other interesting matters. This time, tennis, and Nigerian tennis players have begun preparations ahead of this year's Davis Cup. African Group 3 qualifiers holding in Abuja from 15th to 20th of July, with about 15 days to the event, which will involve 6 nations such as Zimbabwe, Ivory Coast, Benin Republic, Ghana, Namibia, and host Nigeria. Anticipation is building by each passing days. And when we have players like Daniel Adeleye, Michael Emmanuel, we certainly should be one of the ticket holders for this one, Mike.
Oh yeah, we should be, but then we can't rule off other countries that is coming. It's same, our own backyard here that we hosted the WTT where the, Indians came here to dominate and sweep away all the gold and silver medal, both in the male and female category. So, despite the home advantage, you can't also always bank on the home advantage where you have failed to do the needful. But then I think I still had to peruse through the names that will be representing us in this very one. And I believe that I have what it takes to excel this time around. Coupled with the fact that we will be having the home advantage, also playing at home, it gives the players even more confidence and it helps them to relax as well going into this very one. But they need to be at the top of their game to ensure that they come out victorious.
No, I mean, you talked about, victorious, because just one team, is it just one team that will represent Africa at that level, or 2 teams or we're going to two teams, yes. One from this zone, one from the other zone. Another person have already said that they don't want South Africa to come close because it looks like South Africa when it comes to tennis at that level, have been doing so well. But I asked myself, Ons Jabeur is presenting Tunisia, Egypt. So, I mean, these are countries that are also potential finalists or ticket holders that I expect, not just in table tennis, I expect them to also develop talents that can represent Africa. For me, it's about African participating at the Davis Cup. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter the countries that will represent us, but if Nigeria picks the ticket to me, I'll be very happy.
We'll be very happy if Nigeria pick the ticket, but it's not about picking the ticket and go out there to flop. It would be better for any other African country that will have
well enhanced, well prepared.
Yes, the likes of Ons Jabeur. This is a familiar name.
But Ons Jabeur is not even a home base.
Yes, not a home base, and that is why we need to also start sending our own players out there abroad to perfect their skills and learn the craft appropriately, so that they can be able to add value, for me. But then I think Africa, we have been backward in terms of long tennis. We have not been able to produce the stars over the years, exception of the likes of the Tunisian. Which other African tennis player that would definitely come?
We know about a certain African player from, I think, South Africa. I've forgotten his name right now, who used to also play very good tennis.
It's just a handful. A handful for a continent such as second largest continent in the world, such as big as Africa. We are just even finding it difficult to place our hand on the names that have been able to represent the continent. So it tells you how appalling and how backward we are in terms of developing our tennis out here. But then I think whenever you wake up from your sleep, it's your morning. In a local parlance, they say, we can be able to wake up from our slumber right now and start doing the needful and start fixing our own house in place. I think we can give it a shot. But then one thing is very certain, that a country must emerge a ticket holder in this very one that is going to represent the continent of Africa. That is what I'm very, very happy about.
Very, very happy, and let's see how that goes. And away from that now, let's take you through the happenings on the first day of the 137th edition of the Wimbledon. At Center Court, we saw a lot transpired yesterday. It's the grass court season, and this is the height of the grass court season. And of course, we'll start with what transpired. It looks like one lady is back since 2019. Naomi Osaka said it feels good as she continues to dream of more glory, getting a win in her first appearance after 5 years, winning 6-1, 1-6, 6-4 against Dene Parry. That's a way to announce arrival at the Wimbledon.
Yeah, an impressive way to start, but it's not yet an uhuru, because we understand, in the early stage, in the early phase of the Wimbledon, some of these, seeded players, they are always.
I don't think she's a seeded player. Okay. I don't think she's a seeded player. I think that she's just coming back from maternity and they're trying to regroup her rankings. She has been poorly ranked, and so maybe she's just lucky enough as a former Grand Slam winner, four-time Grand Slam winner to get the odd against Dane Parry. Just maybe.
Okay, but Dane Parry, for me, I think is not a quality opponent that will also trouble Naomi Osaka, despite the fact that she went on maternity leave and also a couple of injuries setback in time pass again, trying to come back into her form. I think she should have been able to get that one done and dusted, looking at her experience, because like they say, an old man or old woman never get old in the music that he or she know how to dance very well. So she still have what it is, the experience is there. So for Dane Parry, it's not a match to Naomi Osaka, and I just think that is the reason. But then she should not also rejoice too much, because tougher opponent await her, in the second and third phase, because definitely there will come a point in time where we'll definitely meet or match up with some of the big names out there, and that is where she need to, showcase her talent to the world and prove to the world that indeed she's already back and better this time. But then it's a big congratulations and a relief. What a joy for Naomi Osaka after many years away.
What a joy and a relief for Naomi Osaka, the 26-year-old who is now ranked 113th, 13th in the world, was injured in 2022 and also missed 2021 as a result of her mental health issues. She will next play against Emma Navarro, the 19th seed, and looks like in the second round this is going to be a more tougher opponent for her.
Yeah, and that is what I said just earlier, a few seconds ago, that she should expect tougher challenge in the second round, because you definitely come up against some of the big names out there, and that is where she needs to also prove her strength and tell the world that indeed, come on, I'm back to my best. So she should also start preparing very well for that very one. Getting your first victory in any major tournament is always a morale booster, but sustaining that first momentum is also another question. But then I still believe that Naomi Osaka, looking at her comeback game so far, you may want to say yes, there are some positive to take home, and she will truly be able to stand her own very strong. But then she needs to do a lot in order to overcome Emma Navarro.
She needs to do a lot, truly. And away from that, other event that transpires still in the WTA there at the Wimbledon, we saw Emma Raducanu, one of the British ladies there, doing so well, though she fought ugly, quote and unquote, to get a particular win against the Mexican, Renata Zarazua, who gave her a very tough run, but somehow she was able to come out strong on center court. I mean, those who play in center court are those who are Grand Slam winners, and some who are also fortunate to play. So you play in center court in the first round, you are respected as a Grand Slam winner, and it's just that way. Maybe that build on her momentum, but let's see how far she can go. But she said it doesn't matter how she wins, a win is a win for her.
Definitely, a win is a win, despite rather how dirty it is. It doesn't really count. What counts in the past and in the present is about, Emma Raducanu winning this one. Nobody will remember how you won it, but it has gone down to the annal of history that she won it, her first game in the Wimbledon for this year, and that is what matters for me. And then going forward, I believe that she's going to also improve on her game, because in first game like this, there's always palpable fear and tension for you not to lose your first game, especially as a big name. You wouldn't want to lose your first game, and that is why you need to do everything possible, despite how dirty it is, just like she also acknowledged. But a win is a win. So for me, it's a big, big congratulations to her. But then it's also an indication that indeed something is wrong somewhere that she needs to correct before her next game. Of
course, certainly we'll get to see how she would go about correcting that particular one. And the one lady who will not take any correction because she's no longer interested as a result of injury is Aryna Sabalenka. She has pulled out from this year's Wimbledon.
Not a happy one for her fans out there. You expect her to be very fit in this very one. She pulled a whole lot of crowd out there because of the massive fan that she has all across the globe. And you expect her fans to turn up very clutch in this very one. But it will be disappointing for her fans out there hearing that she's not going to take part in this very one. No thanks to injury. And of course, injury is part and parcel of the game. When it comes, you can't actually hold it. But then we wish her well and quick recovery.
Wish her well and quick recovery. My only challenge is on the area of her ranking points. This is 2,000 ranking points, and it means a lot to all the stars. So when you pull out at this stage, you are dropping 2,000 points that even if it's 25 points from the 2,000, should be massive to add to the already existing point that you have. But I don't know how that will impact on her, because it depends on who wins this particular one. Begin to think the point gap, and I mean, if any of these top 10 wins, that means we're going to see a rejigging, because the point difference between herself and Iga Kokokov, as well as the third seed, the fourth seed, isn't there's not much disparity, So I'm just hoping that will not be impacted. But let's talk about what's happening in the May session, where the defending champion, Carlos Alcaraz, who was interviewed, 2 days ago, said, the Wimbledon is just normal. She's just coming to do this particular one and maybe prepare massively. And we saw how that played out getting to win the French Open. He's still basking in the euphoria of maybe also doing so well. We saw how he displayed yesterday. He fought so hard to gain that victory in a 7-6, 7-5, 6-2 victory there for the Spanish young star.
Yeah, a good way to start from the French Open champion, talking about Carlos Alcaraz. I think Carlos Alcaraz seems to be on the rise again after his impressive display so far this season. Don't forget, he was actually tipped to become the new face of the ATP after the likes of Novak Djokovic. But then, when it matters most, he doesn't just live up to that high. But then, if you take a look at his game so far this season, you may want to say, yes, there's a little bit of an improvement, and that is why we've seen him, take the second position in terms of the world ranking, while Yannick Sinner seated first, who dethroned Novak Djokovic. Novak Djokovic is seated third in the ranking right now, so you expect Carlos Alcaraz, with his fine form, coming in as a French Open winner to this very one, to make a good mark for himself, because if he get to win this one, then he may possibly be getting closer to topple Yannick Sinner for the world #1 as he stands right now. But then, it's always very, very good for you to win your first game. Very, very good to win your first game. And I can tell you that Francis Tiafoe also won his first game in grand fashion. But it took, 4 sets at the half to get that particular one against Matteo and Nardi. We also saw Sebastian Bies and Nicolas Jarry, who became the first seed to fall in the men's singles, losing to Brandon Nakashima of Japan and Denis Shapovalov, respectively. And we also know that Kaspar Ruud, 10th seed Grigor Dimitrov, and newly crowned champion Tommy Paul also reached the second round. Andy Murray will make a final decision today as to his fitness to play at Wimbledon single later today. It has been a battle of, the last dance for him. I don't know how far this will go, but then I think I'll be very, very hopeful and very, very excited to see him fit, for the single. But then I think we have no say in this until a doctor makes his final, test and approval. But one thing is very certain: even if he did not take part in the single, he made it very clear that coming in the double, he will definitely be fit for that very one. But then I expect him to pass the fitness test this afternoon, maybe in less than 3 hours time before we get to know if he will possibly take part in this one. But if we look at the delays, the dilly-dally since 3 days ago, when we've been muted that he's going to have a late fitness test, it's very clear that he looks as though he might not just pass a fitness test for the single. But then be rest assured that he will be back in the double. That is what I can assure you. But we are waiting to see the fitness test come out in maybe like 3 hours time. But then I think it's going to be very, very sad if he doesn't take part in the first, because coming in that big toga, there are so many fans out there that have been very, very anxious and anticipating him to come back in this very one, because this might probably be his last dance before he take a bow. Because I don't know, like he has stated, in a few months ago before this Wimbledon, that he wants to live on a very high note, and that is why he's doing everything possible to beat the injury setback and be able to be fit in this very one. Okay, I will hope to bring you more of it later on when we come back, for Sports Extraordinary later this evening. We're going to a short break now. When we come back, we will bring you more electrifying news in football.
Telling him not to counterpunch. the counterpunch.
All right, welcome back from that break. If you just joined us, it's sports talk this morning on Atlantic Television Network, and I have Mike here. Of course, we are bringing you all the electrifying and stylish news from the sporting world. It's time to talk football matters now, and we'll start from the home scene. We are the newly promoted club to the Nigeria Premier Football League. Ikorodu City has confirmed that they will participate in the forthcoming Nigeria Premier Football League season, and we hope that this will do. The director, Toby Adepoju, refuted claims on social media after speculation arose that Ikorodu City was considering selling its sports. For him, he said, since their promotion, the board and management have never considered selling the slot.
Yeah, I think it's good that he's coming out to clear the air, because there have been so many rumors flying around the corner that they want to relinquish their sports or their slots rather for the Nigerian Premier Football League, maybe because of the fact that maybe they may not have the financial muscle to, get to the market and get the players of their choice that will help them to stay afloat the Nigerian Premier Football League. That may be the fear, but then in every rumor, there's always an atom of truth, So for me, but then good thing he has come out to dispel such rumor. After working so hard in the NNL, gaining promotion to the top flight, where you should have been able to enjoy and sell some of your brand and your players and get more money, get more richer, you want to sell your slot. I think he's not done.
And the even funny thing is to be unfair to the players that have labored to get to this level.
Exactly. Most of these players, you don't know how excited they are right now, because playing in the top flight league, it also gives them that much needed exposure. And one or two of them might get a foreign contract because of applying their trade. If you get to do well, we've seen many players who just left this season alone, to outside the shores of the country from the Nigerian Premier Football League. So for me, I think it would have been a miscarriage of justice or injustice for the players that have labored in the NNL. After gaining promotion, you don't even allow them to enjoy the fruit of their labor, you thereby relinquish your spots or your slots to other teams. I think it would be very bad. But good thing that they've come out to dispel such rumor.
And to Rivers United now, they have also stand firm to clear the airs as to the rumor, the news that Finidi George or Emama Mapakabo might just take over the affairs of Rivers United.
Yeah, we had the news flying around social media and some other corners that Finidi George might just be the next man to take up the job of Rivers United after he dropped his resignation from the NFF, after those bad results he got, and after the tongue lashing. And for me, I think Rivers United, they need a coach, but should they be in a hurry? I think they should take their time to look for a proper coach, a good coach that will be able to revive the strength of Rivers United, because it's very sad that Rivers United will not be participating in the continent so far this season. After they let go of our long-serving coach, there is need for us to take a painstaking step, and before you appoint a coach that will best suit to the dreams and philosophy of the club. You don't need to rush into bringing it. Of course, this is off-season, so they need to take their time to look for a proper coach that will fit into the philosophy and the plan of Rivers United.
Plan of Rivers United, and I can tell you for sure that one thing very astounding is that they said 31st of August is for the new season, and so we'll get to see how that one goes. Let's move now, because of time, to Europe and take you through the Euros ongoing, where we saw a drama in two centers yesterday. Spain and Portugal, Mike, have qualified to the quarterfinals of this year's European Championship.
Yeah, for Spain, it was expected for me, because they've shown that resilience, they've shown that dedication and passion, they've shown the commitment and the team spirit to go far in this competition, starting from the group stage where they won all their 3 games, before scaling through the last hurdle to get to where they are right now. But for Portugal, I think Portugal, you may say, yes, they escaped narrowly. We saw how difficult it was for them to break down their opponent yesterday. a ball get to 90 minutes, no goal, extra time, no goal. In fact, when Cristiano Ronaldo should have ended the game even before the extra time, he missed a penalty kick. He wept so hard. Even the mom who was at the stand also cried. But then, you know, because of the spirit of leadership, he did not let his head down. Even when pushed against the wall, he still stayed firm until the last minute, where he actually went down to penalty shootout. But then he had to summon courage. When their opponent lost their first penalty kick, Ronaldo stepped up. Despite losing the first penalty, he stepped up during the penalty shootout and delivered, scored the first penalty, and bringing back the spirit, that understand, that, I mean, that belief in their team out there. So for me, I think Portugal, they escaped narrowly. And I tell you, if they meet with a very stiff opposition like Spain, maybe like Germany, or even France that is underperforming, yeah, there is going to be a total disappointment for the Portuguese.
But not two games are alike.
No two games are alike, but you take a look at their play yesterday, it wasn't befitting of Portugal, who paraded a lot of stars in their team. The only star is worthy of mention in their opponent team, Slovakian team, was maybe Oblak, the Atletico Madrid goalkeeper. Sheshko as well. These are the two notable names. Away from that, the Portugal boasts a whole lot of talent. You expected them to get the job done and dusted within the space of 90 minutes.
Of course, I hope to see that, you know, come to reality. But Mike, time is over now. When we come back later this evening, we'll have more time to really look at all that has happened and the games for this evening. Many thanks for being part of the conversation this morning.
It's always a pleasure.
My name is Ekpo Temple. It's been a wonderful time doing this with you, with Mike, Emmanuel Michael, and of course I'll be back this evening for sports at 6 p.m. Do stay locked here on Atlantic Television Network. Tomorrow I'll be back for Sports Talk same time, and then don't forget you can go to our social media platform to converse further with us. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.